Hello, my name is Li-Yang Liu. Today, I'd like to present our paper entitled Active and Interactive Mapping with Dynamic Gaussian Process Implicit Surfaces for Mobile Manipulators. This work was developed at the University of Technology, Sydney, Australia. I'll first present a demo of our mapping system using a simulation. On the left-hand side of the screen is a simulated world. A robot in the form of a mobile manipulator is launched to complete a mission of exploring an unknown object pile and to collect as many objects as possible with limited onboard resources. The right-hand side shows the working of the mapping system. The framework guides the robot to progressively build a map for the changing environment. As objects are removed, the framework performs online update on the map to reflect physical world change. Our framework is also about active exploration. From the map, the robot is able to identify possible locations to move to in the next step. These are drawn as green bars in the GUI. The bar heights indicate a utility score, with a maximum bar marked in red color representing the next best view, NBV, for the robot to move to. Our NBV selection strategy aims to balance between exploration and exploitation. For the exploration part, our NBV scheme includes an analytical expression for the frontier, encouraging the robot to explore unseen parts of the world. For the exploitation part, the NBV scheme makes use of a manipulability score, guiding the robot to choose places which host as many possible pickable objects as possible. With the help of this framework, the robot is able to efficiently pick up all objects within very short time. Now it's showing the internals of our mapping system with various point clouds. This will be explained in the subsequent slides. We model the world using GPIS, a special form of Gaussian process. Samples taken from the sensor are defined to form a jointly Gaussian potential function via the well-known kernel trick. The scene map is simply the zero-level contour surface of the potential function, and the normal vectors to the map surface are also jointly Gaussian by its nature. This representation defines a map that is continuous and probabilistic. Here, our robot stores all sensor points in the entire execution history in a data store and infers a dense map at arbitrary resolution. To handle objects taken away from the scene, for each frame of scanned points, we also apply an instantaneous Gaussian process stage, referred to as 2.5D inverse GP. This GP stage defines a tolerance layer drawn as magenta and blue points in the figures, based on the uncertainty inferred. The old points in the GPIS data store that are taken away from the scene would fall outside of this tolerance layer, hence can be detected and deleted. These are drawn as green dots. We also define a virtual wall for outer range measurements in the current scan. This ensures all newly revealed background points after the scene change are valid and can participate to infer the tolerance layer. All points from the GPIS data store that are inside the field of view of current frame are therefore processed in this proposed manner. For NBV selection, we project the 3D map onto the 2D ground plane, forming an image. Extracting contour from the image gives a set of piecewise linear segments. Each segment describes a potential robot base placement for the next step. Computing the information utility for each segment I, the segment with the highest utility value gives the NBV. The information utility is computed as a convex combination of various factors of the segment with a discount failure penalty. These factors include a manipulability factor, a interact order factor, a die-cluster travel distance factor, and a segment uncertainty factor, and the frontier factor. The frontier score is computed as the sum of segment point uncertainty gradient projected onto the segment direction, where the uncertainty gradient is computed from the GPIS expression. This is possible as the GPIS has a differentiable kernel. Together, this score represents how fast uncertainty changes and is maximum at the exploration boundary. The manipulability score depends on the overlapping region between the map and the arm's task space. We sample this task space uniformly. And for each point in this task space, we query the GPIS for the point's potential, uncertainty, and surface normal. From this, we obtain a weighted sum of occupancy probability. This is the manipulability score. For evaluation, we tested our framework in 3 simulated scenarios. Our framework outperforms other schemes based on the occupancy map or random selection strategy in terms of mission completion rate and map coverage. We also performed an appellation study which shows each factor in the NBV selection scheme contributes positively to the overall performance of the framework. In real-life test, we first compare the accuracy of the dynamic mapping output against the ground truth, and our map is shown to be accurate and it outperforms a dynamic mapping method based on the occupancy map. We now show a real-life demo of how the robot using this framework can build up a map for a dynamically changing scene and moves to the next best view position. Yeah. Initially, the robot is positioned next to a pile of objects with a brick on the left and a brick on the right. It picks up the brick on the left. This shows the map before picking the objects and after the object is picked, and how the map is modified by deleting points shown as green from the GPIS data store. Now the robot has moved to the next best position and picks up the second object, which is on the right. Comparing maps generated at various stages of the cycle, this shows the effectiveness of our dynamic mapping framework. Now the robot moves to the next best view position. It goes to pick up the third object. Comparing the maps before and after picking the third object. Thanks for watching.